Yeah, of course.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming out, doing all this. It's awesome. I'm sure everybody's eating it up as much as I am. I can't speak for everyone. My question is very generic. I'm a director. So when dealing with different directors, when dealing with a similar director that's your friend over the years, is there anything that you would like that directors do? Is there a balance between direction and freedom? Do you like pure direction? Do you like, that's kind of where I'm at. You know, I love giving you guys freedom, but a lot of times you need to give that little scope. So, you know, you guys have dealt with this for a really long time. You know, what is your advice? What's your favorite thing a director does? What's your least favorite thing a director does? That kind of thing. I'm really curious to see what you guys say.
Great, working with directors. Why don't you start?
I think one of the things that I miss and don't see very much anymore is directors that actually take control of the set. From where the honey wagons are parked to what is going on in that day. It gets sort of dissipated down the line and handed out, and no one really wants to take absolute responsibility. And I think it's really, really hugely beneficial when a director actually tells me when we're location scouting, okay, he gets his compass out and looks where the light is going to go, where the sun is going to set, and says, no, this is not going to work for me. Let's go to the next one. Rather than let me tell him that it's not going to be the right location. I really love the director to be so fluid that he understands exactly everything that is going on. Then it becomes a partnership, and there's nothing finer than having a partner that you can work with in that way.
Right on. P2, anything to add?
I find the relationship with the director very, very important, because I think that if the director is able to speak to you and give you specifics on how they want the move or the shot, and you can get on the same page with them, it kind of, and not in a mean way, cuts out the middleman of the DP always having to translate it for you. And just, I think that's a very strong bond that is necessary as an operator.
Okay, great.
Well, I think, you know, in the end, I always feel it's the director's movie. And there have been times I've worked with people that you think, well, they're really not quite in the place that they should be. But I look at it as maybe I'll learn something here. You know, you can learn something from a terrible movie. There might be one or two nuggets in there that you can learn from a movie that no one cares to see, but it's still got something to it. So it's always the director's film. You have to keep it that way in your mind. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be allowed to experiment. You know, when I'm looking at a shot, trying to find a composition, I might pan to the right, to the left, just to see what's around and get a vibe of what might be there. And I don't like hearing someone yelling, you know, center up, frame up kind of thing. In the digital world, that's a constant thing, that people are watching a tube somewhere and they're thinking the camera's not aimed where I want it to be aimed. But to, as an operator, have the freedom to be able to experiment a little bit, and if you got a shot because someone's used a finder, think about, well, it could be a little bit better if it were 3 inches over, because I'm going to get that light back there, and this window is going to tell us there's more to the frame than what we see here, that this makes the set larger. So to be able to do that is the best way to have that kind of working relationship. And also, if you screw a shot up and you say, all right, we have to do it again, they'll often say, oh, what happened? What happened? Well, I prefer just to say operator failure, and just be done with it. There's no explanation to it. If you screw up, you're just going to do it.
We're all trying to do our best.
That's right. Yeah.
Pete?
Well, obviously the relationship director and cameraman operator is very important. You're there to do a job. You're there to put his vision, her vision, and record it so that it will help play a part in his film or her film. I gotta get that gender thing going right. So the pendulum swings. You have some directors who know exactly what they want. They know how to get it. They will give you subtleties to change the frame, and you think about it and go, no, they're right, they know it. But then on the other side, you have directors who really have no clue what you're doing underwater whatsoever. So you have to talk them through what you can do, offer up some advice on what I could have the actor do. You have to be careful on that in terms of the politics. but you also have to own it if you do blow it. And as Craig said, I have had that, and a couple of times it's been very humorous. On Inception, Chris Nolan, who's probably one of the more buttoned-up directors we have out there. He's a pretty amazing guy, and a nice guy also. But he I won't say take no prisoners, but you should be on your game. And we were working up at the tank at the top of the hill at Universal, and we had to have Leo go in the water and just sort of float around. And here's Chris Nolan, dapper, with suit coat, pants, white shirt. He's now in a white suit in the water with me. And Wally Pfister's there. We're all watching what's going on. And I don't know what happened on the first take, but I think Leo went one way, I went the other. Obviously, it was not a good shot. So I come to the surface, and Chris goes, "What happened? What's up?" And I go, "I screwed up. I don't know what really happened, but I took it." So we got it the next take, and we did it. Now then we had the setup in the bus where I have to literally crawl through the bus on my knees because there's no room. I can't. I'm pulling my own focus. This was film. The video cable hanging behind me, and I started Ellen Page, go to Mos Def. No, I started on Leo, Mos Def, Ellen Page, Tom Berenger in the back, struggling to get out the back. We did about 4 or 5 takes, perfect. And we're in the van being suspended by a crane, and if I look behind me on the windshield, where the windshield should be, there's Chris and Wally in wetsuits watching what's going on. So we got a number of really good takes, and so Chris goes, "Why don't you hold on Ellen this time?" So I get in there, I do the whole thing, go past everybody, I hit Ellen, and I made that one nudge. I had to keep going. So I knew I was going to be in trouble. And so I popped up, and before anybody could say anything, I said, "Permission to redeem myself, sir." And he went, "Granted." And he said, "You were distracted by the background." And then we went and did the next take.
That's awesome. So they have a clear vision, but they realize people are human. Everyone's trying to do their best and sort of keep moving forward. And so, Larry, you've worked with Todd Phillips a bunch. Do you feel like there's something really attractive about him as a director that you like working with, or?
Yeah, tons. I mean, I just have a lot of respect for him as a director. He's fantastic with actors. I think the best thing that he does is we certainly have a plan. We come up with a plan. I think it's similar to what Craig was saying, which is you sort of create a plan, but always be willing to sort of throw it out. And I think movies sort of discover themselves, certain movies for sure, but our movies tend to discover themselves as we're making them. So I think he's really good at recognizing when something's working and stopping it in its tracks if it's not, and not just carrying on with a plan simply because it's a plan and you're worried about making your day or those kind of things. We've literally not shot because he's like, "I don't think this scene's working and I'm gonna rework it, and so we're gonna figure it out." We don't do it a lot, and we'll make up the days because we work pretty quickly, but I have a lot of respect for the fact that he's always very present to what he's shooting in that moment and not just executing a plan.
Well, that's great. Excellent. We have another question?
Yeah, we have a few more.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, I just want to thank you guys for being here. So you're talking a little bit about how you like working with directors who are very specific in what they're doing. Have you ever worked with any directors who were also camera operators? I'm curious about that. And if maybe their background was in camera operating, does anybody have experience with that? And then do you like that, or do you feel like there's competition there, or anybody have anything to say about that?
Has anyone worked with a director who's also
I have.
had been? Oh,
I have.
okay.
Yeah, I've worked with a director that operates. As long as they're good, I'm like, cool. I mean, it's a prerogative. I'm not against it, and certainly, I think even if I see them operate, I understand maybe perhaps what aesthetically they're choosing to do, and then perhaps I can then take over and execute some of the same idea. Because I get it. One of the reasons I still operate, even though I shoot, is it's the best job on the set. I think Craig sort of put it there. It really is like the greatest. It's also one of the few jobs, along with focus puller and actor, in which every single take you're performing, and you have to be really, reactive and and present and all these things, and you know, it's not like you set something up and then let other people do something. You actually have to perform every take, and it's really fun. And so that's also, I think, one of the things that's tricky about either being an operator or being a DP and communicating to your operator, something that is often amorphous or ethereal, or something that's hard sometimes to communicate because it's about reacting to something in real time. And I would say, if I had a question for some of the panel, or for Craig, or for K2, or even for Dan, is like, you know, if you do operate, and it's just, I think, in that communication, or Craig, perhaps, you know, if you've had DPs that have also operated at times, and what does that feel and look like to you, and how do you sort of, you know, react to that?
Well, I haven't been on any shows where DPs have wished to operate, you know, as the primary camera. This Motherless,
Sure.
Brooklyn, Dick Pope would often pull the camera out the last minute and do from a different angle some coverage. And,
Got it.
And of course, Edward would look at that as a, you know, as a freelancer coming on set and decide whether it was something that he felt he could use or not use. Dick's a really good operator. There are directors I've worked with that have operated. I mean, Ridley Scott's one of them. That he's an excellent operator, and I wouldn't mind having him sit on the camera and do a shot. But then there are other directors, for instance, Adrian Lyne, who knows he's a terrible operator and wishes he could, and he's doing something that he's not getting. So
Exactly.
There's that, you know. And I understand that too, because I've been in a position where I've watched someone operating where I might be DPing a second unit and we have an operator on, and I know he's not getting what it is that I wished
Right.
he would be getting. You know, and it's just like having a sandbag tied onto your back